important that you give close-ended options when you are asking children about what they want to eat.
Yes.
Thank you. You give close-ended options. You don't want to say, oh, what do you want to eat? And then they'll go, oxtail with beef of something. And then you are wondering and you get angry. So you give close-ended question. Do you want rice or do you want yam? So that way the child is in control, but it's you that know that you are the one that is running things. Because if you look at it critically, no human being loves to be controlled, really. So now these children are at your mercy. You are the one that's choosing everything for them. They don't even have a say. And if we look at them as human beings just like us, but just smaller versions, then I think we'll be able to treat them better and relate with them better. So yeah, just like I said, that me, I cannot drink tea. I don't expect that now my daughter too is saying that she cannot drink tea. And then I'm saying you must drink the tea. And it's whatever we tell this one that this thing used to hear, those like Yoruba incantation and all of that. I don't think it's the best. So you give close-ended question. Do you want this or do you want that? Can I help you? I'm busy. You give a close-ended question. Then it's also important that you take advantage of your child preferred meals and be creative around them. So you know that this is what the child likes. So for example, your child likes potato. There are 1,001 ways by which you can serve potato. You can bake it, you can fry it, you can grill it, you can mash it, you can do just about anything with it. So you tend to be creative around the food that your child loves. Then of course you invest in attractive feeding utensils and equipment. Things are not expensive, so you may want to invest in nice and attractive utensils. For example, this pouch, I bought it because my daughter started we started going out. It's a different thing when the children are in the house and you can just give them anything. So I started going out, and I discovered that she was meeting with children that were bringing Capri Sun and all of that. So one way to help her package our own was to put it in very nice packaging and all of that, so that she knows that she's not missing anything and she doesn't feel left out. So, and it's a win-win situation. Yeah, it's also is you explain to the child in age appropriate ways, just like the video that I played earlier. And then you offer food in different ways. It doesn't have to be one particular way. It doesn't have to be just one way. Let the children also know that their homemade meals is the treat, and every other thing that they are getting is mere indulgence. Where we make the mistake is we say, oh, okay, if you do this, I'm going to give you a treat. And then we buy pizza, we buy this and that as the treat. But it's important for them to know that their homemade meals is actually the treat. So if they get ice cream or they get pizza, it's mere indulgence, and that is just what it is. It's offer water 30 to 40 minutes before food. This is a natural way to stimulate appetite. So that this child is going to eat in the next 30 minutes. You give some water. It's also important that you approach feeding your children homemade healthy meals rather as a labor of love. So I see it as, oh, okay, you are helping, you are collaborating with God and helping them to preserve their organs, to preserve their health, and to present their bodies as an acceptable sacrifice back to God. So I think it makes sense. You should serve meals in small portions frequently. Sometimes because even for adults, when they give you a full bowl of eba with zemo, you kind be like, what happened? This thing is scaring me. I can't finish it. Let me divide it. So now imagine just bombarding children with, they may not be interested. So it's important to serve small portions frequently. For infants, you may do maybe every 2 hours. You're feeding the child every 2 hours and all of that. For toddlers, they typically will take 3 square meal and maybe 2 snacks in between. But if you have a child that eats a lot, it is well. You should acknowledge and reward compliance and progress without overdoing it. So this child wasn't eating before, now is beginning to comply. You should acknowledge it, but don't overdo it. If you overdo it, the child may use it against you. So for example, when my son finishes his food, the sister and I will usually give him an ovation. We'll clap for him. Oh, you finished your food. Give him a round of applause. We clap for him. Oh, you are a good boy. And he's happy. He claps and all of that. So he looks forward to that. He looks forward to that. It's also important that you do what works for you. At the end of the day, these are your children. This is your family. It's you that knows what works for you. You should be empathetic, but you should be firm. You know, you know that, oh, okay, there are certain things that I'm not going to do, you know, maybe tantrums when it comes to food and all of that. You should be kind, but then you should be firm also that, oh, okay, sorry, my dear, this is what I have for you tonight. Tomorrow morning, you can eat whatever you like and all of that. So these are examples and all of that. So the date that example. Now, if you look towards the bottom of this screen, there's a pouch. That pouch I showed you before, it's there. It was a pina colada smoothie that I made there. And this is Bambara chocolate muffins and chocolate cake. This was snack. I think it was a snack for a Sunday service or so. So I knew that, okay, so this child is going to a place where there are other children with packaged snacks and all of that. You don't want her to feel inferior or anything. So it's expedient that you invest in, this type of packaging and all of that. Now, when it comes to teenagers, it's a bit different because they are reasonable people. We can talk to them, we can reason with them, and then they will understand. So it's not everything is not it shouldn't be a power tussle. Oh, you must do as I say, as long as you live under my roof, blah 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 blah. Children these days, they are different. They are so different from our generation. I particularly to explain to them that, oh, okay, this is why you need to eat healthy. There's something called diabetes, there's something called obesity. You need your health to be perfect and all of that, this and that. And even you being a good example. And I know that we tend to say, oh, peer pressure and all of that. I remember that as a teenager, I just took a challenge to stop taking fizzy drinks and all of that. My brother did. Oh, I know that us are reasonable people. We just need to be able to engage them and relate with them. Now, these are some of the things that you shouldn't do. Look at this boy on the left hand side looking at his mother. It's almost as if that woman has frustrated and disturbed his life and is looking at her like, Mom, can you just let me be? And things like that. So yes, you shouldn't force your child to eat. You shouldn't force your child. You shouldn't spank the child. In anything that involves brutal force or all of that, it's not advisable. So you are with a cane in one hand and then the spoon on the other hand, and you're telling the child eat. That child is under duress. It's not the best approach. Yes, it may work in the interim, but it is not sustainable. The child most likely will not have a healthy relationship with food. And that's not what you want at the end of the day. It's also very easy for us to abuse our authority as parents. We think that, oh, I know what is best for you, I'm doing the best for you and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work. It's not the best approach. At the end of the day, you shouldn't insult the child and things like that. I personally think that anything that involves the use of brutal force, spanking and all of that is a lazy approach to parenting. Because for you to get your child to do what you want, you must be creative around it. You really have to be creative around it. Spanking and all of that just it gives you a quick fix and it doesn't even fix things at the end of the day. In my opinion, you shouldn't blackmail your children. Parents tend to say, "Oh, eat your food. Don't you know that there are children out there who don't have food to eat and all of that?" Now, this is how we set our children up for unhealthy competition at the end of the day. Rather than that, why not say things like, "Oh, eat your food. I made it with love. I made it with so much love just for you, and it will gladden my heart if you eat this food," and things like that. So those are the kind of things that I say. And oh, it's good for girls. It will help you grow. Your bones will be strong. Your teeth will be healthy, and stuff like that. You also don't want to cajole so much. If not, your child is going to capitalize on that and expect that you pamper them and cajole them. So typically, there has to be a balance. There should be a balance in between. Oh, I'm encouraging you, and then I'm being firm at the same time, but I'm not abusing my authority and I'm not going overboard. Uh, you should not compare your child that, "Oh, look at you've not eaten your food. Look at your brother, he has finished his food." You are setting those children up for sibling rivalry. And if it starts, you may not be able to end it. So don't compare. Each child is an individual with preferences, with likes and dislikes and all of that. Then if you store junks in, I figure that the easy way out is not to even stock it. So my got to the fridge and then she opened it and then she started, "God has not given me the spirit of fear," and she picked a bottle of granuts and she was going. And I was looking at her, like, "Who is this one?" She came back later, picked chicken. God has not given. I said, "If you don't return it, God has not given you the spirit of what?" My friend returned the chicken. So, you know, that tells you that if it's biscuit that is there, that's what she will pick. If it's banana, that's what she will pick. So whatever you don't want your children, snacking on or all of that, you shouldn't bother storing it in your pantry or in your fridge. Don't also be a short order cook. A short order cook is, "Oh, I made rice. Everybody is eating rice, but one child has said, 'No, I don't want rice.'" And then you now go and start making yam. Once you start it, you will finish it and it will continue for a very long time. So it's you find a middle ground and say, "Okay, so we're eating rice tonight. Look, everybody's eating rice. But I promise you tomorrow you will eat yam, things like that and all of that." But if you start as a short order cook, they will continue to order fast food from you and you may not be able to keep up at the end of the day. Then if you consistently eat your child's leftover, they believe that it is your responsibility and all of that. I remember growing up, my mom once served our food as we were eating, and then the loud mouthed child out of all of us, "Ah, mommy, you are eating when we are eating. You will eat our leftover." And that thing got my mother very angry, and that was the day she said, "From today, I'm not eating anybody's leftover. You must all finish your food, you know, this and that." So if you consistently eat, of course, yeah, there are times that you may eat leftovers. I don't eat leftovers. No, sorry, I don't eat leftovers. Finish your food. If you don't want to finish it, that's your business. But I dish my food as a princess. I'll be like a queen and all of that. You can't be giving me leftovers here and there. For what? I'm also somebody's child. So yeah, if you consistently eat leftovers, you may continue for a long time. So yeah, as parents, we tend to wonder, "Oh, what if I've done all of this and then my child still decides not to make the healthy decision, especially as they are grown now and all of that." I personally would say that you shouldn't bother so much about that. You just put in the work. It's a lot of work. It's really a lot of work, especially in work. But you just put in the work and believe God for the best, and everything will be just fine. And then we continue to help them in prayers also. So now, beyond the children, for daddies and mommies also, it's important that we also stay in shape, that we be in health and prosper, even as our soul prospers. It's important that you exercise regularly. It's important that you eat a wide range of fruits and vegetables, and as you are eating those fruits and vegetables, you can offer it to the children. You pay attention to your health also. So it becomes a family culture. Everybody knows that, "Oh, okay, our health is very important." You are deliberate about eating healthy and things like that. Recently, a message not just to the parents but even the children. They are watching and they are learning. Check your blood pressure regularly. Do your medical checkup. It is also important that you always go for the healthier alternatives. What do I mean by that? Sea salt is healthier than the regular salt. That if you can do it, just natural spices and all of that is better. I made spices that you combine together and oh, it's fantastic. You will not even know that some things are missing or something is not there. You can grill rather than fry, or you air fry. That's healthier. So you should consistently think of ways to go for the healthier alternatives and all of that. Smoothies are very healthy, they are good for you. Drink lots of water, at least 3 liters a day. Very, very important. As much as you can, you avoid junk, especially as we grow older. We need to avoid junks and all of that. Children can even still do a bit of junk and get away with it because they burn a lot of calories and things like that. But it's because of their health, that we tend to say, oh, okay, you may want to slow down on some of these things. And before I also forget, we shouldn't give refined sugar to children less than 2 years. System cannot handle those things, and we may end up harming them or hurting them, at the end of the day. So yeah, be a good example to your children. Practice what you preach. Is very, very important. And then you should consciously unlearn bad or unhealthy eating habits. It's very important. There are some habits that we have learned over the years. I told you about how I used to mix milk and Milo with groundnut. I'll add a little water. It will be very thick, and then I sit down and be eating it and things like that. Imagine a 35-year-old, a 40-year-old, you are still doing that type of evil behavior. It's I can't find the word for it, but I think it's very despicable. So uh, um may our children prosper, blossom, and flourish and be in health. So yeah, I wrote this book I think last year. It has much more information about exclusive breastfeeding, weaning. There are some recipes for your toddlers, your that's okay, for your infants. There are also yeah, some recipes and quite a lot of other things. And it's an ebook. It can be downloaded.